Okay, thank you. Right. Om. Namaste, welcome everyone back to Satsang today. And of course, welcome to all of you who are joining via broadcasting. Someone made this beautiful ring for me, you know? And yes. It's very beautiful. I'm just going to leave it here for a moment. This one. Thank you. So, this part, welcome. This part of Satsang, as I told you before, we took a break, was to have an opportunity to read through some of the letters that come. I don't know how many we can get through today, but we will start and see what happens, no? Dear sir, I have been watching your videos on YouTube and on your website for past week. They are both uplifting and enlightening. What I have discovered is that I have been unconscious for most of my life, and I'm only now realizing my true self. Though I still wrestle with the serpent from time to time, I am. Many thanks for your voice, Eric. This is a really beautiful letter for me. No? And say, I've been watching your videos on YouTube only for the past week. No? They are both uplifting and enlightening. What I have discovered is that I have been unconscious for most of my life. And what is good, that you don't remain unconscious for the rest of your life. Isn't it? Yeah, I feel like this. Why I'm uplifted by hearing like that, no? And and only now I am realizing my true self. This is a very beautiful thing. A very beautiful thing. And can you imagine that maybe if you could take an example that you grew up and all your life you were with some people who took care of you and everything, but they didn't, something was missing, something is missing, something didn't feel right or something like that. And then one day you found out, on your own that this is not your biological parents. Your real parents actually are right next door. Well, I don't know if that's a good example. It sounded like it was going to be a fantastic example. Anyhow, so I have just discovered that I have been unconscious for most of my life and only now realizing my true self. though I still wrestle with the serpent from time to time, I am. Why serpent, you see? He said the serpent represents like the deceiving voice. The one that is always commenting, advising, making some assessments all the time. The chatter that goes on, and goes on sometimes so regularly that we mistakenly take that voice to be your own. And it has to be shown somehow. And then you begin to wake up increasingly to the recognition that, wait a second, what is that? Who is saying these things? You see? Gradually you come to see that the reason why this is going on is because we are not awake to the truth of who we really are. And you begin to recognize it more and more. No? And so this voice, which we perhaps have grown up with for a very long time, begins to lose its influence. And so your mind now can stand a chance to become your natural mind again, not distorted by this. So serpent here represents the deceiving voice. No? Though I still wrestle with the serpent from time to time, I am. You see, I am not that. You see? So many thanks for your voice, Eric. And so may you continue, Eric, to discover more and more. Come completely home to the fullness of yourself. How far can we go, you see? So I find that a wonderful letter. The next one. Dear Mooji, I would like to ask you, how is it possible to keep putting the attention onto something that cannot be found? I'll keep reading on, no? I don't feel it is effortless, and a lot of doubts keep arising on whether the attention is really on the self, or emptiness or nothingness. I feel I can stay as the observer of whatever appears. Is it enough? But I cannot go beyond the observer. Thank you so much. Forever grateful, Andrea. So, let's look again now. I would like to ask you, how is it possible to keep putting the attention on something that cannot be found? Well, it is not introduced to you like that. It is not introduced. First of all, I say, whatever we are perceiving, we come to see that it is not stable. It means you cannot rely on it. The thing itself will change shape, and even your mood and attitude towards it will change by different things, influences the way in which we perceive, you see. So I don't find it to be reliable at all. That's what. Then I ask, is there anything that has ever appeared to you in whatever form that has stayed consistently, irrespective of whatever is happening? It has remained as it is. Remember, I also say that there is not one thing in the world that has one single inherent meaning to it. That the meaning of a thing is in the mind of the perceiver. Therefore, we can all go out, as an example. I hope this is a better one than last one. If you imagine World Cup football, football is big in this country. World Cup football, and there's two teams are playing, but there's 100 commentators from around the world, each of them commenting, watching the same match, reporting it differently. So who is making the most accurate, what you may say, assessment of the match? Who? Nobody. How is it possible to keep putting the attention on something that cannot be found? And so I said from the beginning, I have not told you, put your attention on the thing that cannot be found. Because it would not connect with you, it would not make sense initially, especially because in the beginning there's so much resistance in the young mind, meaning that, already there's some fear of the unknown, it already smells something, so resistance has come. So this would not be the way through which you would enter into this questioning, you see. You must have been doing it for some time, or not quite following the advice, to put it in this way. I don't feel it is effortless. I don't feel it is effortless. It and effortless meaning what? I don't feel it is effortless, you need to say. And a lot of doubts keep arising on whether the attention is really on the self or emptiness or nothingness. I feel I can stay as the observer of whatever appears. Is it enough? But even the observer you cannot stay as. Have you tried? Even if you are keeping observing at a certain time, you fall asleep anyway. If you're observing, at some point, if the question is not put, the observer is observing all these things, okay? But can the observer observe itself? Then a change of direction happens. If it is only observing things, as long as it cares to see, new things will keep coming. And then at some point you will say, this is pointless because there's no end to it. It just keeps on and on. So the point of asking you to observe is not just to keep reporting that it just goes on and on and on. But at some point, it's not just about what you're seeing, but who is the one who sees? When that question begins to bite in, then the grace escalates in its effect, you see. Maybe at first you don't understand, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? It's just, there is a kind of resistance, a barrier, and it seems you cannot understand what is being spoken. But at some point, it opens up, and understanding begins. After this, it's a countdown for delusion, you see. In the beginning, it's very difficult. And this is why we don't over-encourage people to come here. I don't want just people come here. We're not interested in this. But if there's an urge in you, that urge may bring you here. And if you're following that urge, the grace will support you. You see? So I don't feel it is effortless, and a lot of doubts keep arising on whether the attention is really on the self or emptiness or nothingness. I feel I can stay as the observer of whatever appears. Is it enough? You cannot stay as the observer always, you see. And this will also be observed. Is the observer stationary? Is it fixed? You see? And what would know that? Must be a deeper, more subtle observing place. I don't feel like going so much into it because I'm sure you have watched something enough to go into that again, But I cannot go beyond the observer. You cannot go beyond which observer? Because ego can be observer also. As I said earlier, the ego also has the capacity to witness and to observe. The difference is its witnessing is very, very... it witnesses with self-interest. It's not universal. Its witnessing is very, very localized. You follow this or not? Yes. When that is recognized, that wait a minute, the ego is also looking and so on, but that kind of looking is very, very emotional, it's very, very narrow. Then what sees this? Then you have to admit that a deeper place of looking, much wider space in which even the egoic observer is itself seen. So even the egoic observer becomes also phenomenal. It's another thing seen. If that is recognized already, you're experiencing a sense of expansiveness. You see? You don't feel so rigid, so solid. Something begins to, a sense of formlessness, a sense of something immense is opening up inside. And because of this, sometimes fear comes. The mind begins to try and search for something to hold on to, because it feels that it's vanishing. So it takes some maturing to bear even the first stages, you see, of that opening. If you're in a sangha, they may encourage you and support you. If you're by yourself and you have a devotion, a love for God, then something will come to comfort you and to encourage you. Don't worry, I am with you. You see? Otherwise, we run away, because something feels, I am going to disappear. And so there's a natural resistance to going close towards something that makes you feel that you might disappear. But the truth is that you are not disappearing. What you are not is disappearing. And are you sufficiently mature enough to see that difference, to discern that difference? This is what is happening here in Satsang. But I cannot go beyond the observer. Well, I ask you, what observer? You have gone beyond the ego observer, then you come to a place of what you may call conscious presence. The sense of presence is the evolution from person into the state of presence. The presence is not a person. It's like a bridge between personhood and absolute pure awareness. You see? It's another stage, a much more subtle stage of observing. When most come to this stage already, they feel, they're already naturally, even the one who was an atheist before starts to talk about God. They can't deny. They say, there's something here, oh my God. They start to talk like that. But I cannot go beyond the observer, you see. Yes, for the moment, just like that, you feel. At a certain point, if one keeps observing, but with the following the guidance that has been given, at some point you come to see that the observing, the source of the observing itself is formless, which is not different from what you are discovering, that your own self and source is formless. When you are able to bear that discovery, you are free. You see? Formless, but with form. You understand or not? Formless, okay, good. Dearest Mooji, dearest wonderful team, beloved Sangha, a few weeks ago, a colleague of mine showed me, as a joke, a YouTube video where a master and a seeker are basically just laughing together for almost the whole of the video. It was the best joke of my life. I found your website and the invitation, Mooji, and since then, I have been watching your videos almost every day. Grace and the generosity of you all provide me every time with the pointings that are needed to dissolve my person, and for this I am deeply humbly grateful. The seed is planted, and I will stay in your midst at the feet of our beloved Mooji. We are all one. Hugs and blessings to you all with unspeakable gratitude and love. Gisela. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yes. A few weeks ago, a colleague of mine showed me a joke. As a joke, a YouTube video where Master and Seeker were basically just laughing together for almost the whole of the video. It was the best joke of my life. I found your website and invitation, Mooji, and since then I have been watching your videos almost every day. And the grace and generosity of you all provide me every time with the pointings that are needed to dissolve my person, and for this I am deeply and humbly grateful. The seed is planted, and I will stay in the midst at your feet, at the feet of our beloved Mooji. We are all one. Unspeakable gratitude and love. Dear Mooji, blessings to you. Thank you. I have decades of spiritual practice under different gurus and teachers, and most recently with Amritanandamayi, the hugging saint, for the last 10 years. I have a strong meditation practice, and formerly when I had trouble sinking deep into meditation, I would call on my guru to help amidst tears and a strong, heartfelt crying out, and without fail the grace would wash over me and I would plunge into the depths. I attributed this to the Guru's grace, but the last time in the midst of this experience, I felt that what I attributed to the Guru was me. It was very clear and strong and shifted my attention, my attachment and devotion to the Guru dramatically. Now when I'm in my satsang devotees, I don't speak about this as they seem to be in my former mindset that I do not feel anymore. The feeling is that I am my own Guru, being guided from within by my highest self. This is one of the revelations since awakening some months ago. I just wanted confirmation from my mind that this shift is true and healthy way to progress. Blessings to you, Govinda Kali. So where can I pick this up? I have a strong meditation practice, and formerly, when I had trouble sinking deep into meditation, I would call on my guru to help amidst tears and a strong, heartfelt crying out, and without fail the grace would wash over me and I would plunge into the depths. I attributed this to the Guru's grace, but the last time in the midst of this experience, I felt that what I attributed to the Guru was me. Guru is also you. It was very clear and strong and shifted my attachment and devotion to the Guru dramatically. It was very clear and strong and shifted the attachment and devotion to the Guru dramatically. I remember a story that after serving a master for some years, a certain devotee woke up to the truth. This devotee then approached Master and said, Master, for all these years, you have faithfully guided me. Even when I have been really unpleasant and not listening to you properly, you still didn't give up on me. And now, by grace, my eyes have opened and I have come to the realization of the self. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For without your grace and your support, it could not have happened. How can I repay you? This devotee asked. So the master said, actually, I don't know about repaying me, but I'd be very happy if you make sure that you're not overtaken by ignorance, by arrogance. That you don't lose what you have found. Keep stabilizing in it, you see. This is not being said here, you see. You have been spending all life, maybe lifetimes, we are spending in ignorance. And by grace, God comes or sends a teacher to you. And the grace of God is inside the teacher also. And the love of God is inside the teacher also. And has helped you to come to that seeing. And then you say you had an experience, and suddenly, all that devotion shifted. Oh, it's me I should be praising. Be very careful. Because it does happen, a seeing has happened, but then somehow something slips in and say, we have had this experience before, that people have come, and some of you who have been walking with me for some time, you've seen these things. People have come, they've come in satsang very humble, and then one day they had some kind of insight, and suddenly they start to walk around, like this type of way. Did they awaken? No, they had an awakening experience, but the ego, you see, was still there. And so I said to one man recently, you see, now you feel you're sitting on the mountaintop of your own being, but you're sitting on a mat made of banana skin. Be careful. You will sneeze and you'll be right down the bottom of this hill. You see? So one of the big things that will protect you is this arrogance, you see. Be careful. You see? Because of course in the scripture it says it is your own self. And at times it tells you that the Satguru, the pure Guru, meaning the God self, is within you. It is true. It is true. But I could not really hold an idea of this way when the gratitude towards my master, it won't go away. What are you going to say next? In fact, I didn't need God, it was me all along. What I needed God for, It was me, worship myself, myself. You are the greatest. You are the greatest. Oh no, sorry, you are the greatest. What do you want to say? So even like this, it is best you just be humble in yourself. You see? Now, when I'm with my satsang devotees, I don't speak about this as they seem to be in my former mindset that I do not feel anymore. The feeling is that I am my own guru, being guided from within by my higher self. This also can be said to be true. But then this arrogance would not be there. It just would not be there. The feeling is that I am my own guru, being guided from within by my highest self. This is one of the revelations since awakening some months ago. I just want confirmation for my mind that this shift is true and a healthy way to progress. If you have fully come to the recognition of what you are, even the sense of progressing seems like another idea also. And there's no arrogance should be there, Still, what happens is that in your dynamic aspect, a maturing still seems to be going on. A maturing, a refining is happening, but against a background of unchanging awareness. So it's not easy to speak about these things because by words, if people don't understand in the heart, they just say, well, you're talking foolishness, you're contradicting yourself all the time. And it's true, and at a certain point, the truth just explodes into a lot of paradoxes, and it can just seem as though you're saying the same thing, different things to different people, so which is the truth? And there's no way to explain to these people, you see. So I would just say, just be mindful of that. Because I accept your question as a genuine question you're asking, no? I just want confirmation from my mind that this shift is true and healthy way to progress. You see? In this life, the teacher who comes to set you free from our own egoic conditioning, that one you must always respect and love. They pull you out of death. they kill death. What the word guru means anyway. The word guru, a Sanskrit word, means what? It means, the one who removes darkness. Darkness means ignorance. Not give you light in that way. The light is already within. But remove that which obstructs the light from flowing. Who does it? So, dear Mooji, my partner followed in March and April the retreats in Portugal. One of them was life-changing for him. You can say that he woke up after years of staying in a sleeping state. Because I love him, I always thought that I would say, fantastic, if it weren't for the fact that he became so hurtful, selfish, childish, not bothering about anything, me. In my view, he acts like a puber. What's a puber? Huh? Teenager. Or like puberty. There's one word called puber? I never heard it before. Thank you. It's a funny sounding word though. Anyway, so in my view, he acts like a puber. There's something keep jumping in my mind. I say, no, it's better not. I understand that this process needs time, and that he needs time to deal with all that comes now on the surface. But it is much to carry. So meaning that it happens sometimes that even on the realization of the self, then behind this is following a lot of all the junk is coming up. It can happen that it release all this suppressed things that come to the surface, and the person may seem worse than before even. No? But then they sort of burp up all this nonsense, and then it comes into a clear space. Because one woman was coming to satsang, and then she was reporting to me that, said, Mooji, I realize that I am not a nice person. I used to be a very nice person until I started coming satsang. So I said, why? What happened, So she said, I don't know what's happening. It's like I start to get angry with people. And the other day she said that I went to a petrol station. You know who I'm talking? I went to petrol station, and I paid for the petrol, and they gave me just, the wrong change. Maybe like, 15 pence or something change. I started arguing to the lady, you are cheating me and all this type of stuff, which you would never have done before. Then she came out of the petrol station in her little car, and then a big juggernaut truck was coming down, and he passed, and she decided to overtake him after this, and looking up and go, She says, but that is not my usual behavior. I don't behave like that. What is happening? Am I becoming a monster, So I had to explain the same thing like I'm doing now, that sometimes your goodness before was not the really goodness. It was just trying to be good. And now you're not trying to be good. Then all this badness that was there now, that you was hacking good over, now that is coming out. And so let that go now too. Let that go. And everything is going to be good, fine. So my sister came to visit me and had the plan to stay for the night. But his hurting towards me made her decide to go back home. A drive for 3 hours late in the evening. That must be some bad behavior there. Can you advise me how to deal with this situation? I am not quickly desperate, but now I am. I follow your Sunday satsangs online often, and I hope that you can share your wisdom about relationships related to interacting. I hope I made myself clear in what I need. Thank you for reading my letter in despair. With love, Aradhana. Aradhana. So bad is this behavior. Because she said now, after the retreats in March and April, one of them was life-changing for her partner. You can say that he woke up after years of staying in a sleeping state. Because I love him, I always thought I would say, fantastic, as you would imagine, you know. Your partner, you're trying to get them to satsang, and then bing, something happened, and then you say, oh, it's so great. But no fantastic. If it weren't for the fact that he became so hurtful and selfish and childish, not bothering about anything, me. In my view, he acts like a puber. I understand that this process needs time, but he needs time to deal with all that comes now on the surface. But it is too much to carry. If you're with the partner now and they have to put up with all your bad habits now. And my sister, so his awakening is not stable yet. So maybe just at the beginning of, burping out all this stuff, and then gradually coming to a new place. So he should come to satsang, actually. Someone like this would invite you, come now and you spend a few weeks here, and we'll sort him out. Yes, I feel like that. Because sometimes you're in a relationship and your partner, you're too used to each other, too familiar. And maybe you don't really listen to each other now. Maybe saying, well, I can't learn anything from you, you should be learning from me. I don't know. People start to speak like that, you see, because we take each other for granted. But if he came here, then, I think it would be different. Hello, Mooji. I don't know how to start this letter. About 2 years ago, I wrote to you about my alcoholic father, and I was asking for help because I wanted to send him to a place for rehab, and he was not happy for that. To make the story short, he decided to take his life on May the 2nd, 2018, by hanging himself. Sorry for the details. I have to let this out. This was a shock for me and my family because we never thought it would end like this. I know there's nothing for me to do, and I did the best I could. If it wasn't for you, Mooji, I would be mad at this point. Your guidance and the invitation are guiding me to peace, even if fear and anger are there. I can't really explain it with words. I love you, Mooji. I know my father is gone, but not in the way I used to think. My only wish is that you bless me so I can wake up completely and drop the anxiety and depression that attacks me at night, not letting me sleep. I can see they are attacking this idea of Kiryam. I'm also part of the Miami Mooji Sangha. This brings me the most joy. Sorry for the long letter. I love you. Kiryam from Miami. Yes, it is good too that... how complex and varied life plays for each one. As you come more deeply into your self-discovery, you will find that the tendency to blame and to regret things gets softened out, and you start to find some value in everything, even in painful things. You may even find that the painful things are providing much more spiritual vitamins than the nice, cozy things. You see? So this is a strong one, of course. But again, having listened through the invitation you say, and that's helped you to move through this. My only wish is that you bless me so that I can wake up completely and drop the anxiety and depression that attacks me at night, not letting me sleep. This will gradually go. You don't have to focus too much on that, and gradually these things will go. You don't have to be sitting there waiting for them to go. You just keep focus on the thing that you are discovering, that by itself, without trying to fight these waves of anxiety and depression. Just focus on what is true, and what is not true will gradually just find its place. Very good. I can see that they are attacking this idea I have of myself, she's saying. And being in the Sangha, it brings me most joy, of course, because there you have the proper support, not just people going, oh dear, never mind, and so on, but people who can sit, and you find that even in the most challenging, intense experiences, there is a deep calm inside your being. And sometimes people are concerned. They say, why should I be so calm in a time like this? I have never experienced that in a moment of outer crisis or so, or emotional crisis or whatever, that this could be here, and now I'm feeling this tremendous peace. I feel undeserving of this. Is it right that I should be feeling so much peace? Because my mind is saying that I should be feeling guilty for being so peaceful. Why should you be so happy in the light of everything that's happening around you? You see, like this. So we are growing through these contrasts and experiences, you know. Namaste, Mooji Baba. I have been listening to you for a long time. Since then, I decided to come to you, but due to some economic hurdles, I have been unable to come and attend satsangs, which is still my greatest desire. So I decided to write to you and pay my deepest gratitude to you for helping me through dark times into light and truth. I am not fully awakened to truth yet, but now I am able to differentiate between things coming from mind and the unaffected presence. This is very good. So I can remain calm and peaceful in times which earlier made me totally restless and fearful, thanks to your point, just what I've been speaking. I live in Lahore, a city in Pakistan, and here I cannot find any spiritual gatherings like satsang. You come to India, but not to Pakistan. It is my humblest request to you to visit Pakistan, so that the people here also can benefit by your teachings. And also I'll be able to meet you, which is not possible for me at this time, as I'm a student and yet I have no money to go outside of the country. Please accept my deepest gratitude and love. Salam, love and peace. Musfira. Okay. This is important because as you are discovering more, and not just outwardly learning, but inwardly discovering. You see, what you are now meriting a deeper peace. You see, something a deep peace is coming. You see, and it helps you to be more clear-minded and sober in the way that you are functioning, not just hot and emotional or prone to depressions and so on. More this quiet vibration, this quiet presence is with you. Then gradually, 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 you come to see this quiet presence is you. You see? So wonderful thing. Who would not be happy for that? Yeah. Namaste, dearest Mooji. I was only able to watch a little over and half of my master pointings to true freedom, the last Sunday's satsang. All the same, it was enough to inspire a shift in my orientation. I did experience a deeper understanding. I woke up this morning still viewing myself, my body, my life, and the world a little differently. It is more profound than I need to express here. What I would like to share is a thought came into my head. I pictured a pot of popcorn with a little oil, and all of those kernels of corn beginning popping all over the place. Through your invitation and your pointings, you are vigorously shaking that pot. And like the kernels of corn, the true nature of many people are going to be exploding. A lot all at once. Forever turned inside out and enjoyed by everyone. Because of this imagery or analogy, I hope you don't mind if I say with loving kindness and a sense of humor that you are quite the master chef. Thank you for all that you do. You are having a profound impact on many people. May you be blessed to continue your work without hindrances, just as we are blessed that you are here, shaking the pot. With love from Sandra, Kelowna in Canada. Kelowna in Canada. Very nice. Oh, they're coming with pictures now. Dear Mooji, a few years ago I had a dream at night. In it I saw a man like you sitting on the cliffs in front of the ocean where many orcas, in killer whales, were swimming. I was sitting on one of them. I was looking in the eyes of this wise man, and his smile touched my heart deeply. I felt that he is one with nature and he knows the truth. When I woke up in the morning, I knew that all I want in life is this lovely, wise, and peaceful smile. Now my life has changed completely. I left my pregnant wife, quit my job and also my business and relationships with all my friends because they could not understand me. I feel I am on the path of truth, and from day to day with you, my trust in life becomes deeper and deeper. I know that this life is for freedom and peace. The only thing I want to ask you is to pray for my wife and for my daughter. I wish that my wife can find peace and her wounds can heal and my daughter can grow up with two peaceful parents, if this is the best for her. May God's will happen and lead us all home. I thank you from the deepest point of my heart that you melt the ice around my heart and lead me to the truth. I love you and your peaceful smile. Danielle from Switzerland. Now we read a letter like this, and I know that, you laugh at that, but we don't know what anybody's life is like, do we? We don't know. And sometimes, people, you may say something, people look at, to you, they don't know, they're not wearing your shoes. You see? Okay? So I don't, when I read this, I say, okay, we don't know. My mind don't go there. Sometimes we have some standard thing. He left his pregnant wife? Wow, that's really bad, and so on. So I would say to people, if I was to treat you or regard you as, they say, students on the path, I would say, beware, don't judge. Because we never know how it is. Maybe it was a good thing for him. Maybe it was a good thing for her too. You see, we don't know these things, but the mind wants to feel like it has some standard sort of like, assessment kind of ideas, and you can assess someone. I say, I don't go there, I don't. No? Because sometimes what you hear and what you discover are very different. So, I can only say, sometimes it may take quite something for someone to be so honest about something like that. Maybe others would not write something like that. They would, do some script writing and write some nice things. But he's speaking the truth. We don't know if this person, maybe somebody was always have to tell lies all their lives. And for the first time they say, you know what, I'm just going to speak the truth, whatever may come. Suppose that was the case like that. What would you feel towards this person? Maybe differently. You may say, wow, man, I admire you for saying that, because I don't think I could do that.
He's not hiding anything.
Huh?
He's not hiding anything.
He's not hiding, maybe not hiding something, you see. So we don't know, and I would really advise people to don't judge. Leave everything to God.
Thank you.
You see? Thank you. Very good, Daniel. And because it can sound a bit cynical, like, okay, I left my wife, but please ask God to bless her. But I said, yeah, you still, what can I say? If I can do something which is good, I'd rather just do that and stop talking about the bad things. Even we don't know what bad it is. Dear Mooji, I have been trying the invitation since your last Rishikesh season. When I do it very quickly, I feel thoughts stop. I am left with a sensation that I cannot really describe in words. I cannot even say whether it is pleasant or unpleasant. But I do feel like I would like to just sit with that sensation. So if you just want to sit with that sensation, you must be appreciating something. I am also aware that I am able to observe the sensation, but that's it. I do not feel anything other than this. When you start asking the questions, I cannot answer any of them, because all I feel is this sensation, and I don't know what you mean by the is-ness. As soon as I open my eyes, the sensation disappears and I am back to normal mental activity. Could you please provide some guidance so I may go beyond this? Last Sunday, you provided a beautiful guidance about witnessing. I find that there is something observing everything, my thoughts, emotions, sensations, and even the person, which is constantly changing. It does feel like that observer is not really involved in the things happening, so it is probably not the person who is observing. But it feels like I become aware of this sensation of something observing. It almost feels like another thought saying, I can see the person like this now, or I can see the person trying to look for the observer, etc. It still feels like it may be the mind itself that is doing the observing. I feel like I have not found the ultimate observer yet. Mooji, please provide me with some guidance that can move me forward on this journey. Thank you very much, Veena. Let's see when you started. I've been trying the invitation since your last Rishikesh season. When I do it quickly, some. See, I am concerned when I read this. I am also aware that I am able to observe the sensation, but that's it. I do not feel anything other than this. When you start asking the questions, I cannot answer any of them, because I feel like it is this sensation, and I don't know what you mean by is-ness, you see. How I can explain what is is-ness, how I can explain. You just have to stay with it. You know, in these days, everybody wants things like this. And even the consciousness has adapted some things for us because we're in another phase now. Everybody have short attention span. Nobody has time. Nobody has time. Everybody's in a hurry. Nobody has time. Not even the unemployed have time. Everybody's running around. Blah, 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 blah. So nobody has time to sit anymore. Nevertheless, some sitting is important, to sit with something and to really follow something like this. In older times, you know, you would have to really sit. You'd have to really be watched for a while to see if you qualify to even be a student. The criteria for accepting you as a student would not be because you have the money to pay for a retreat. The Master is not interested in your money. There's nothing you can do for an awakened being that they want from you, not even your praise. You see? So they don't want anything, but they don't want to waste their time. So they would not accept students who just come and start to explain and complain, oh, I've been doing it for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks? Go and sit down. They would not accept you. You must put your attention on the thing. When you have done it, or the teacher may give you a certain kind of thing to, once you reach a certain stage and your seeing has opened up, they may send you, like I want to do here sometime. There's a meditation box over there. I don't want to see you for 2 days. You go in there now and don't talk to anybody. Give me your phone or so and do a thing. And you sit and you contemplate this thing. And then when I see you, I want to hear from you what you have seen. That would be the kind of sometimes interactions that you would have. But now, since beings like Ramana Maharshi, Srinisagarata Maharaj and Papaji opened up this thing to everybody, they say they are now speaking in the marketplace about freedom. Anybody come. And sometimes people are very impatient, they want like this, and I say, no, there must be some integrity in your seeing, that you have to be persistent, you see. But first of all, the teacher must make sure that you have the correct guidance. Once you have that, then they follow up what is doing. Because somewhere along the line, if you say ever since the last Rishikesh season, then if you had the proper guidance and you're following the proper guidance, you should be saying something more than this. You could not be just saying, oh, I'm still stuck with this, and I don't even understand what you mean by is-ness. You don't understand it. You experience it. It's not something for your head. It's not like at the end we're going to end a term examination and this is theory, you're going to write something. No, they would be able to look at you and say, aha, what's happening with you? You look confused, you're thinking all the time, your consciousness and attention is externalized too much. They can see you so clearly. You see? And you would not come like that. As soon as I open my eyes, the sensation disappears. But what is not a sensation when you come to the end of the invitation is not merely a sensations. Sensations also are a cloud's passing. That will pass also. Your idea of yourself has also gone. What is left, you see? Even you cannot speak about it. If I ask you what is left, your inability to speak about it, I would accept as your answer more. Then you start to tell me, yes, I can see the is-ness, and I thought, oh, please. I'd rather just see your inability will become your eloquence. Now you say, last Sunday you provided a beautiful guidance about witnessing. I find that there is something observing everything, my thoughts, emotions, sensations, and even the person, which is constantly changing. It does feel like the observer is not really involved in the things happening, so it is probably not the person who is observing. Now if you come to this, that even the person who you formally would identify with now becomes an object of perception. Who is the subject of the perception, you see? But it feels like I become aware of this sensation of something observing. But that is also observed then. You see? The more you do it, the more subtle your powers at observing become. More and more subtle and subtle until you vanish as a separate, the sense of your separateness somehow merges in the deep awareness. There's no I left over to come and talk about it. This is why I say, we have if you imagine a raindrop is falling towards the ocean. Can you imagine if the raindrop could think, it's going, oh my gosh, I'm going towards this big ocean. Might feel some anxiety. Oh my God, what's going to happen to me when I touch that big expanse of water? Oh, I say, wonder what's going to happen to me. Can it swim around inside the ocean? And then come out and say, wow, that was amazing. Can I tell you? No, it becomes ocean, isn't it? It says all the rivers, their attraction is to flow to the ocean. And when the rivers meet the ocean, they lose their names. They're now called ocean. They lose their name, isn't it? So same thing when the individual, which presently is so precious for many people because we have the sense that all we know is my person. But when real understanding awakens within, you see your person is just like a bubble in the ocean. When we don't have that conviction, that experience, we feel, oh, what's going to happen to me? I don't know if I can trust you. Where are you taking me? Tell me something about the unknown. I can't tell you anything about the unknown. You see? So it still feels like it may be the mind itself that's doing the observing. If it's the mind that's doing the observing, what would perceive this? There must be something that perceives. Look, the mind itself is trying to solve the mind. Some deep understanding is there. You see. I feel like I have not found the ultimate observer yet. When you find the ultimate observer, you will not be there. Not as a seeker. Can you imagine the seeker coming, I got the ultimate observer. The seeker being the relative. The relative has found the absolute and is keeping the absolute hidden. Is it possible? No, it's not possible. So please provide me with some guidance that can move me forward in this journey. Yeah, the words are okay, move me forward. The meaning, reveal my true nature. My true nature is not this one, even. It's not yet complete. It's just still being refined, slowly refining until eventually it... you see, when we have this ego feeling inside, this self-realization is very threatening. This is why the mind is rebelling. Do you understand this? The idea of waking up, still something deep inside us know that this is home. Yeah? But the mind aspect of ourselves is very afraid. Or it plays as though it's afraid. It's not. How can the mind be afraid? It doesn't really exist, actually, in reality, no? Okay, so he's going to be afraid, or my mind is afraid. It doesn't exist. Okay. If I say it doesn't exist, people say, no, it really exists here. Here it really, okay. So we have to work with that and to show, not just to talk about it, but to demonstrate and expose its unreality. Otherwise, it's not Not profound, is it? Just becomes an idea, and I'm not interested in ideas at all. How many more we have to do here? Okay. Dear Mooji Baba, thank you for the blessing of the invitation. I thought I was a seeker who had a consciousness inside her, and that this person was the root of me. But everything I have been searching for is in the glance of the heart, which I am and always have been, Alpha, where there is nothing before. I still experience movements from the mind, wanting to claim and own even this experience of truth for itself, attempting to use life in order to enhance her identity in the world. There is still sometimes a pull to be unique and special, and the fear of becoming anonymous, but through your pointings, these thoughts are becoming more like distant cobwebs, and I feel the power is in my hands to give them significance or not. This is very good. I know these movements are not me because I can see them. It is such a joyous relief to know that I no longer have to work on the person, to not have to try and fix what is by nature unfixable, because it is fleeting, vaporous, not real. It is not me. Good. I see that it is only the ego mindset that thinks it will lose something in absorption, and so needs to maintain a negotiating relationship of separation with life. In this seeing, I am now free to go all the way with God's will. Thank you, Mooji Baba, for your invitation to combine with you. It is giving me the sustenance to persist in trust right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Bisan. P.S. While I have been waiting to be chosen and recognized by the world, I am actually the very life choosing the recognizing itself. Very beautiful, no? Wonderful, Bisan, wonderful. My gosh. Let me see now what we have here. Should I do it or no? Yes. Really? Okay. Dear Mooji, everyone repeats, I love you, thank you, thank you. I feel the same. I'll try to be short and sweet. About 35 years ago, I received an initiation from a spiritual master, and I have had an experience of the self, and it changed my life for the best. Since I know you via internet for approximately 1 month, here is how I can explain what happens to me. A fire was lighted many years ago. Since that time, I used the spiritual practices of my best to honor what I had received. And you know, when someone puts something into a fire and it becomes a kind of explosion, a gigantic fire, it is what your words and presence is doing in my heart, Mooji. For me, it represents a surprise and a gift from God. Your expression, go there where you have no effort to do, inspires me so much. I go there spontaneously. The importance is that I have the reflex to think about your words, like you're empty, empty, empty also. Oh yes, this new attention improves everything in my daily life. I thank God for your presence on this earth, and I'm deeply grateful for your life dedicated to us, to the self. You are a being of love, of generosity. I am so pleased that you are eternal. So I deeply understand why people say all the time, I love you and I thank you. A devotee from Ontario, Canada, that's French Canadian. NB. Thank you for your books, CDs, and so on from the shop. They are food for my soul, and my body benefits a lot too. An eternal thank you to people around you too. Marcel with a Marcele, Marcel. I don't know how to, those accents. Thank you. Very good, very good. Very good. Almost there now. My beloved Mooji Baba, you asked for reports about the invitation, so let me tell you about it. Like a fellow being of my local Sangha said, it is a bum. I have been following your teachings many years, and now I listen to the invitation every day, and it is happening. I get back to the Is-ness, or even the idea of being apart from the Is-ness collapses. Kaboom! What a joy it is to get rid of ego and lose attachments. I am nothing, I am happiness. Everything is grace. I live in grace. And funny enough, I literally now live in a neighborhood which is called Gracias. Of course, mind attacks have come and will come, but now also they are felt as attacks of grace. Even the one thing which before was considered to be the drama of my life has lost its power. I have no fear, everything just is, and there's only one flavor, the flavor of life. And let me tell you about another bum. It is called Sangha. Watching satsang together and sitting in silence washes away my identity and fills me up with love. I am so grateful for the support of the Sangha, and I encourage all beings to get in touch with their local Sangha, full Sangha power. I bow my head to hear your wise and loving guidance. Full love from Marja. Don't worry about the pronunciation. It is a Finnish name, and even my Barcelona Sangha friends don't know how to pronounce it either. After all, it is just a name and not my real self. Oh, look at that. Namaste, beloved one. Thank you that you put this love in my heart, and that this love for you guides me even through the darkest moments. I love you so much, Father, and I am endlessly grateful. But it looks like I need your guidance and grace nowadays. I have a strange mix of feelings, so I want to put light on it finally. First thing is that my mind wants to run away. It tells me lots of bad things, like God has left me and that I am totally worthless. My ego uses this tool very strongly, and it really hurts. I even cannot listen to satsang sometimes. On the other hand, I see these tendencies, Father, and from the place of Is-ness, I realize it's all nothing and all is fine. But there is something even deeper. I even cannot express it. Something inside tells me, what is the point of all of this? I feel tired. To be honest, I'm tired of all experience, of all bad or even good. Of all of this, I start to realize that death can be a great thing. Death of lie is a good thing. Death of falsehood is a good thing. Total absence or total presence, I don't know. I dream about death, if I can say so. Not physical death, but inner death. It can be a great relief. If by inner death you mean the death of what is false, then this is good. Not just the death of the body. The body is innocent. Somehow God is keeping me physically here in this country, even if my heart is burning to be there with you. But something within me knows that freedom is not about distance, but it's always here. All has no meaning until there is even this tiny me. There was no place to run. Please, may God hear my prayers, Father. There's no way back for me. Give me your strength and fire to burn the entire house. Hold us in your heart. With great love and deep gratitude, yours always, Jayani, Kazakhstan. You know, it's like it appears like mind at some point is just waiting, you know, for an opportunity just to slip in, you see, and to take ownership of some things, or to sometimes dare you to do something which ordinarily you would not think to do. Especially if you are feeling frustrated, you know, and you don't realize that it's just the play of your own mind. You start to believe that this is, yeah, maybe I should just get rid of this and so. But you're still thinking in your I feeling, in your I person. You're not thinking from consciousness, but you're thinking from personhood. You see, so you probably get into states of depression or this kind of things. It's so good to be in a Sangha field. This is the last one, I think. No? Beloved Mooji Baba, during the Shiva Puja this morning, a feeling of sacred oneness overwhelmed me. I could feel the sentiment of worship in each one. Being the daughter of a Sanskrit scholar and having been raised as both a Hindu and Parsi, I have great scriptural knowledge of which I am extremely proud. I want to place a confession before you today. It always felt strange that a Westerner, not just you, the present guru in our Swami Rama lineage is an American, should be teaching me about my knowledge. This conditioning has started to crumble at the Shankar Jayanti Puja at our ashram in Rishikesh, 20th of April 2018, but today it collapsed. I was reminded of a world of the Upanishads, which my mother often quoted. I was reminded of the words of the Upanishads, which my mother often quoted. And it said like this: knowing the One, all becomes known. Thus, beloved, you know the One and all is known to you. But to me, there are words still well within is this deep yearning. Over to you, Sharon. And Swami Rama had predicted this. You want to talk about that?
You didn't want to focus on me. I wanted to submit that all these beautiful people are so beautiful. It just felt like it was an experience of oneness. And Swami Ram had said that our knowledge will come back to us from the West. And he had, and I would always resist that. And within me, the conditioning was, oh, come on, I should know it myself.
Yeah.
My one should teach me.
Yeah. Because also I hear that some people, they were coming from India, and at customs, they say, why are you going to Portugal? And they were saying, we're going to Portugal to see my guru. They said, actually what you're talking about, you're coming from India. How can you as an Indian be going to Portugal to see Guru there? Portugal have guru? Actually he's Jamaican. No, what is going on? What is this? Because some pride is there, no? A little bit, How can they be teaching us? Nothing at all. So, so it is said, just to make you feel better, that maybe long ago, some monks and so on from India had some desires in them to taste some of the Western, spiritual materialism or something, and then they would go to the West. They'll be born as West in the West, you see, and then they will come back to India.
Feels like home. It's just
I don't know everything about these things, but that's not to protect your pride, though.
I know. It's gone.
It's gone, no?
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone completely.
Yeah. It is good. You don't actually. We should never. If I can give a tip, don't think you have the power to choose your teachers. Who should teach you and who should not? Then you learn from everybody. You understand? And then God will find a way to bring to you the specific thing you need to find. You see, if you say, you maybe already your mind has a designed guru in your head, that they should look like this. Some people tell me, no, I want a female guru, and like that, and all this kind of stuff. I said, what silly things? Don't have any, so that, maybe a rabbit could be your guru. You don't know who it's going to be. Or to teach, let's just put it like to learn something from, because mind sometimes with this arrogance feels, these people cannot teach you anything. You see? Even in the time of Jesus, no? When some of the early disciples, they went and told their other friends, I think we found the Messiah. Where is he? Where is he from? They say, what? From Nazareth. They say, can anything good come out of Nazareth? So God is always playing tricks like that, Yeah, against our prejudice, you see. Or at the time of the coming of Jesus, they were expecting what? A warrior prophet of the magnificence of, King Solomon or David riding in war to challenge the Roman Empire. And how he come on donkey, tick, 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 tick. They say, hey, wait, who is this guy? It can't be him, no? No, I mean, at least a horse, man, come on, and donkey. And talking about love your enemies and all, what the hell is that all about? So, I would say just gently learn from anyone who touches your heart. Sometimes people, even maybe you don't like, or you may have had some previous thing with them, you may find that they, in a time of need, they come to be with you. You just be so open. Don't hold on to anything, don't be rigid. Use all concepts if you like, but don't lock them, just space. And it'd be so wonderful. You learn from everybody.
I just want to say one more thing. That none of the scriptures actually made sense till I met you. Because the Bhagavad Gita I've been listening since the age of 10.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't understand when Krishna says that the good and the evil are equal to the one who is beyond.
Yes.
And I could not understand anything.
Yeah.
I just thought my mother was rattling something. I kept listening. I heard Rajneesh from the age of 10. He was our neighbor. I have met Ranjit Maharaj. I have met everyone. Muktanand was my guru. Swami Ram was my guru. And I feel they are all here. And they're all in one in you. I don't feel any difference, any conflict, any contradiction. and some understanding is happening, of which I'm not. I don't know.
Yes. And also, you should know also, Guru is not the farm. It's not the farm, isn't it? Such a one also, they, as I say, they learn from everything, from everybody. Even from the devil, they learn something. They learn something. Who you would say, no, it's not, how can you teach me anything? What arrogance! What arrogance! Everything. Then you become like a sponge. The sponge doesn't say, I only soak up wine, I don't soak up water. It's just everything soak up. And so it's so beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
So, that's it. That's it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And look at it. We've finished all the letters today. All of these, all of these, all of these. Huh? It's your patience, you see. Which gonna come sing something? Yeah. Hi. Yes, you want to share? Come. See, this is what's so beautiful in Sahaja, no? This is a camera person, no? So she leave a camera now. Huh? So I want to share something, you know?
I just have to say thank you. These past Sunday satsangs, so powerful.
Yeah.
And my mom has been tuning into them from home. And it's just been the greatest gift to share in this way. And I think I was traveling on one of the past Sunday satsangs, and it was the first time she texted me, and she said she was crying about something, and I wasn't watching the broadcast, and she was, and I was just like exploding with this love. And today is Mother's Day. And
oh, I didn't know that. Happy Mother's Day.
I feel so grateful that God brought me through her here to find you. Yeah. And she always told me growing up, like, I feel I would try to work things out in my head, and I'd always be like, Mom, what should I do? And she'd always say, I don't know, like, follow your heart. And some arrogance here would be annoyed, like, oh, just tell me what to do. You know, and when I met you and your guidance, I finally feel like I could really understand the wisdom of what she was pointing to there. Yes. And I just want to say thank you. And also David from the California Sangha, he asked if you, I could thank you and let you know that you're his mother. And many of us feel this way.
I always want to be mom.
And I know there's a really large group of California Sangha together right now, sending their love. So
California. Wonderful. Love you, love you, love you. Yes, come on in. Thank you, my love.
We received a letter from someone from the Sharon from the San Diego Sangha. From the San Diego Sangha, and it was just there's a bigger letter, but I just thought to mention this part to you. It was my good fortune to have some of the amazing beings who surround you and answer your emails encourage me to begin my own Sangha. We are in San Diego, California, and it happens that this weekend we will gather just down the road with beings from other Sanghas through the entire state. Mooji, the state of California, is lit up with so much love for you. If you happen to read this on Sunday, May the 13th, can you wave to us or blow us a kiss?
Thank you, love you, wonderful, wonderful, so great. One family or so.
Once I was a lost soul, working for the man, waiting for the devil. Couldn't understand. Then I saw my master, working for the Lord, moving with the Spirit. What you waiting for? Moving with the Spirit, Jah come save me. Working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come save me. Working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come save me. Working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come save me. Working for the Lord. Once I was a young man, walking in a dream, waiting for the answer, begging on the street. Now I see a new way, working for the Lord, moving with the Spirit. What you waiting for? Moving with the Spirit, Jah come save me. Working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come save me. Working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come save me. Working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come save me. Working for the Lord. Spirit, working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord. Working now, and working now, and working for the Lord. Working now, and working now, and working for the Lord. Working now, and working now, and working for the Lord. Working now, and working now, and working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord. Moving with the Spirit, Jah come set me working for the Lord, for my Lord.
Thank you. Go ahead. I suppose it's the last satsang for some time, so why not record it? Okay, you come. Thank you. This is good. Okay. Okay, they say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Dear Master Mooji, I am so happy and grateful and honored that it is you. I who have neither wanted the truth of God, I who have never wanted the truth of God to be taught to me by a human, God put on my way the sweetest teacher that my human mind could never have imagined. Thank you for the gift of your incarnation as Mooji on this planet Earth. Infinite wisdom, patience, love, kindness, tenderness, humor, simplicity, compassion, honesty, truth, loyalty, and courage are the qualities that emanate from you. Thank you for this treasure you offer us Thank you, Mooji Baba. Emmanuel from Belgium. Thank you. Thank you. Come here. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah.
I'm usually a person who stands on ceremony, so my apologies to those here who are standing in the way of your dinner and your families. But this is my first, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back to Monte Sahaja, so I wanted to ask a question. Earlier this year, I was introduced to the invitation through my awesome meditation, Laura Dorset in Washington, D.C. And it had been a really rough day. Up early, hadn't slept well, stressful at work. And, I had choices to make. You go this road, I'm going home to bed. Going this road, I'm going to meditation. The last split second, I veered off to the right and went to the meditation class, and I sat, and we went through this invitation. And all of a sudden, halfway through it, I don't know where, but joy started bubbling up. I don't know where it was from. It was electric. And I realized at that moment that you don't have to wait for enlightenment. It can be right there. And that was powerful. But there's this, that joyousness felt like, is that a sensation? Am I living in sensation still? Is that it? Have I found it? And how to sustain myself. How to move in the world from that consciousness all the time.
Yes.
That's my question.
Okay. Well, we're still at very early stages of your discovering, no? And what I have to dispel immediately is that there's nobody who can do it. Nobody can move from this place all the time, because when you refer to someone who may be able to do it, that you're referring to must be a person, and a person cannot do it like this. What is happening, what happens is that with the invitation, you discover immediately, you see, the truth which is behind the face of the person, the facade of personhood. You're discovering that it has always been there also, it has always been here, but it has not been recognized, while the consciousness that is the dynamic expression of God, when that consciousness has painted a portrait of itself as a person and is living in the belief and identity of personhood. It is a person that fears, how can I do this? How can I stop this? How can I bring this into my life? How can I balance myself in all of these things? How can I integrate what you've shown me in what? They can't do it. What has to happen is that the person, the apparition of consciousness, meaning what? The idea that one has of oneself has to vanish. Then what remains is the true self. The true self does not have to do anything to be itself. The person can work until kingdom come trying to do it, and they cannot do it. Because the person itself is an restless, unstable expression of consciousness. So this is the paradox in a sense, no? That what you experience already is the opening flower of grace, and you had something more than a belief, you had an experience that, whoa, whatever this is, it exists. I didn't do anything to do this, I didn't do anything. Then afterwards the person voice comes and says, how can I stay here? Then I may ask you, how are you staying here right now? And you'll have to confess, I'm not doing anything at all. You see? So How to integrate, this would be, I would be giving you a big burden to try and tell you this, you must do this, and to do that, how to balance, you have to do this, and then you will not be able to do it. But I have very good news for you. For this I'm happy, you see. And that is, just keep listening deeply and see what is revealed, what you're shown. Because it will be a surprise to you, the most beautiful surprise. Because if what you're discovering now is now to start new kind of conditioning, I have nothing to give you of new conditioning, enough conditioning, but more to discover the true nature of yourself, which does not need to be supported by any human being. It is just there. And its activity, the activities that unfold in front of it, are blessed by it automatically. You see? So then you don't have the burden of how to balance it. Nobody can balance anything. The best you can do is bring in imbalance. But balance, we don't know. The whole universe, why it say, perhaps, that, according to the Bible, God created everything else first, and then last He created the man. Why? Because if He created the man first, the man might think it's because of me why everything exists. But God showed that everything was existing first. Okay? Because the man cannot do it. And then He bring the man and say, okay, right, I've decorated the place, now you go live in it. So that at least his own sense of self-importance would be subdued. You see? So he cannot do anything. Most he can learn is to learn to discover who he really is in his heart. If the human being is working primarily with its own self-image, the idea I have of itself, he will still walk in darkness for a very long time. When humility comes into the heart and he experiences the higher power, you see, and the higher power could come also in human form. It can speak in a way and crush his arrogance, which necessary has to happen also. Because when the arrogance is crushed, automatically he's open. When he's open, then he may understand at a heart level. When I say at a heart level, means that his understanding and himself become one. Not understanding is something that he has. Knowledge is something that he is also, not something he possesses. You see, all these things are integral in themselves. The sense of a human being doing that they cannot do. They can only be free of the egoic identity, ego identity. If you're free of this, everything is going to go good for you. Whether you are by temperament you are more philosophical, or whether by temperament you are more devotional, whichever way, the success of either way is on, at the end, you must transcend the ego. When you transcend ego, everything goes good for you. If you don't transcend ego, it doesn't matter if you fly a solo spaceship to the farthest planet, you will still be in ignorance of the self. That's what it means. So I feel that is extremely good news. Because if you had to do this, who can do it? You see? The human being is not consistent enough. Sometimes someone asked me before also, Mooji, how do you manage to remain so intuitive? I said, me? I don't know nothing about it. I don't know anything about being intuitive. Intuition is there. It's part of your being. You see, in nature, someone say that intuitive aspect is there. It's somehow swept in the background by the ego that wants to claim victory through its own efforts. But when you discover that that you don't have to, you're not creating anything in this place. You may create things, but not of this caliber. You see? So it's a wonderful thing, and just say persist with this, because maybe You have a glimpse, and then too early you think you've got it all, and then we can just go and do something. And yet it takes time to stabilize, because the mind will still come up, identity will still come up from time to time, and you must understand the mechanism of the functioning of the ego mind. Then you understand your true nature in respect to that. And gradually like this, you understand, you overcome all of it.
Thank you, Baba. May I
Thank you.
Get a blessing?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Indian style. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Everything you do.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you. That's all. Thank you. Love you. So wonderful. You'll still be here for some days, huh? Oh my love. Oh, beautiful.
Oh my Lord.
Wonderful,
I love you. I love you.
wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
Days ago, I didn't know I was going to make it. And my universe threw two stones outside. One was black, the other one was white. And I said, the one was going to say, if it's a dark one, I'm going to Mooji. And I said, but then something was there. And the other was a black and white stone. The one I thought was the white one. So it kind of say, you have your freedom. Like, where can I do that?
The truth is beyond black and white.
I came, yeah, well, that's why. It was, I laughed so much when I discovered that, I thought I had a black one and a white one. And finally,
The other one was black and white too. But I'm here in both cases. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, je vous en prie.
Essayez de venir en France.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Thank you.
We love you. Merci.
Merci.
Merci.